equations of motion in 10.6. This is where we really start to do some problem solving. Now it goes through the development of how the formulas come about. It's vitally important to know what the different symbols stand for. So they're listed here. S is displacement, U is initial velocity, V is final velocity. Now the way I remember that is that U comes before V in the alphabet. So U is initial, it's at the beginning. V is at the end, it's final. A for acceleration, T for time. There's a derivation there of the different formulas. I've got an example here. This is what you need to have copied into, I think, the back of your book so that you can just flick to it quite easily. Your equations of motion, what each of the things stands for, the unit it's measured in, something to remind you, the difference between U and V, that's how I remember it. The 4 equations. This here is a handy little tip or a hint. Sometimes a problem, or often the problem, will involve either starting from rest or ending at rest or coming to a complete stop. So hidden in the question often is this valuable little piece of information, this 0 meters per second for either the initial or the final velocity. So it's something to watch out for in the wording of a question. And you also need to be able to convert backwards and forwards between meters per second and kilometers per hour. You can memorize it if you like, which way, or you can learn how to convert it. This is how I never remember which one it is, multiply or divide. So if I want to change meters to kilometers, I'd have to divide by 1,000. So 3,200 meters divide by 1,000, 3.2 kilometers. Yes, that makes sense. Seconds, I'd have to divide by 3,600, which is 60 times 60 to change it to hours. So if I divide something by 1,000 and then divide by 3,600, all in all, the overall effect of that is multiply by 3.6. If I want to convert kilometers an hour to meters per second, kilometers I'd have to multiply by 1,000. Hours I'd have to multiply by 60 by 60, so 3,600. The overall effect of doing that is divide by 3.6. Right, and if you do that to, say, 100 kilometers an hour, divide by 3.6, and you get 27.8. Right, so 100 kilometers an hour is 27.8 meters per second. So that needs to be somewhere where you can find it quickly and easily, because you're going to be referring to those 4 equations over and over again for quite some time. And then next year, you're going to be referring to them again. So this is something that is a building block, this unit, the equations of motion. We look at all of this sort of thing again next year. You'll do projectiles and inclined planes and circular motion. So it's really important that we get a good grasp of this stuff. It's really important that you don't have to memorize the formulas, because remember, your data book has those formulas in it. But what you have to memorize, what you must know, is these things. You must know what they stand for, and you must know what they're measured in. Right? So this bit here, this is the bit that you have to learn by heart. You must know that. These ones here, you can just look them up. Right? You don't have to learn them off by heart, although you probably will end up knowing them by heart because you'll have used them so much. But this one up here is the one that you must memorize.